Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. Tonight, we'll be looking at a topic we have captured: designing a comprehensive digital transformation strategy for HR. Designing a comprehensive digital transformation strategy for human resources. Our facilitator for tonight is Mr. Edigbe Samuel Matthew, who has now become a regular on this prestigious platform. But just in case somebody is listening to him for the first time, I would like to quickly share with us a brief profile. Matthew has over a decade experience in core human resources as a professional with strong background in consulting, manufacturing, construction, factory operations and effectiveness, FCMG, business and occupation, and then project risk management. Matthew is one of the highly sought-after tech recruiters with expertise in IT framework and global experience in recruiting IT professionals, both technical and non-technical. His interests include, but not limited to, human capital advisory, organizational design and development, business leadership, people management and culture, recruitment, compensation and benefits, learning and development, HR and risk project delivery, and data analytics. Matthew has successfully built and managed human capital structure as well as IT and digital strategy both in Nigeria, Central Africa, and the Middle East. He possesses strong expertise across various human resource value chain. Matthew Edigbe is an empowering leader. He provides support in the development of his team and infuses teams with the energy and passion that empowers them to think big, outpace strategic business objectives, thus giving strategic people the opportunity to deliver. Currently, he is a PhD candidate in managerial psychology at the Great Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. He holds a mini MBA from Techidia Institute, a Master's of Science in Business Administration from LASU, and an MBA Human Resources from ABU. His first degree is BSc Business Administration from Tansian University, as well as an executive diploma in human resources from the Society for Human Resource Management. Also, Matthew is a career mentor with Faith Foundation and Tony Elumelu Foundation. Matthew also volunteers as a research fellow in human capital management with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. He is also a forward fellow with McKinsey Consultants. In conclusion, Matthew is a PMP and Prince 2 certified. He is an associate member of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, and he is also SPHRI candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, let us receive on this prestigious platform, teaching us on designing a comprehensive digital transformation strategy for human resources, Matthew Edigbe. You have the floor.
Thank you so much once again, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun, for having me on this call. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon from every part of the world that you're listening and you're watching us from. Thank you so much for joining. And so tonight we are going to be taking a journey together on the new normal that is evolving around the human resources space. And this cannot be emphasized on the 8 parts to organization, both from framework to policies and SOPs all across growing businesses, considering the objective of the business and how the HR strategies align to it. And so for us to be able to understand and walk through this conversation, we are looking at the global overview, defining vision and objective as in the HR department that intends to design a digital strategy for a department like the human resources. And then we're also going to be looking at assessing the current state, which of course happens to be a part of it. And then we're also going to be looking at selecting the right HR technology. But I would like it or not, organizations exist in different size. Organizations exist in different size, and we cannot, take out the place of how liquid these organizations will be, and of course, if whether or not they will be able to, the organization will be able to finance some of these technologies that are available. And so we're also going to look at that area. We're also going to also consider building a digital HR roadmap, which is very, very important for us to look at. And then, the most essential part of it, which is the training and, enabling people. So let's quickly look at the next slide, which we'll be speaking about the global overview. So this global overview also talks about the global perspective, much expectations from people, what people have, said so far about the view about HR digital transformation. And then, so we're going to look at the driving forces. And the first part of us is the, shifting demographics, multi-generational workforce, remote and hybrid work models, and talent scarcity. These are things that are happening today in our organizations. Most of us as HR leaders, HR managers, and business partners, you will agree with me that workforce will always come to meet you to tell you, okay, HR, I can do this my work when I'm sitting in my house. And the Gen Zs will always tell you that every of this work that you're giving to us to do this and that, we can actually do them within the comfort of our mobile phones or within the comfort of our laptops, of our iPad. And so these are driving forces that are requiring, or that has request the need for us as HR professionals to, be agile, to look at a better digital transformation that can work for us. Another part of it is the technological advancement, AI, machine learning, automation, VR, AR, cloud-based solutions. Every of these has come to simplify our processes as HR professionals. They have come in place to make things work out so that, whether we like it or not, we'll enjoy our job as HR professionals and make life easy and smooth for us. Another interesting part is the evolving employee expectations. Today, employees expect so many things from us as HR, and they don't want to care whether or not we can actually meet with the demand and these expectations from us that they have requested for. But for us as HR, we sit within that comfort to see how we make these things come to pass and we make it available for them. And so this desire for personalization, career growth, access to data, and real-time feedback, global digitalization is what makes them available for us. And of course, we cannot overemphasize the space of competitive landscape. They need to attract and retain top talent, and for us to also improve organizational agility and efficiency. Every of these are the driving forces to the need for today conversation, digital transformation for HR department. But we cannot speak more of it without us even considering what is actually the current state of HR digital transformation today in the world. The first part of it, where based on research, Google, we made to understand that there is an increase in investment in it. Now, global HR technology spending expected to reach about $36.4 billion by 2026. This research was as at yesterday, so I don't know if it has actually changed, but as at yesterday morning, $36.4 billion is what, as for 2026, that is the projection for in areas of investment. And then so for focus on key areas, the focus on key areas for digital transformation for HR speaks about talent acquisition, onboarding, learning and development, performance management, and employee engagement. These areas are areas within the HR value chains that when it comes to employee experiences, these are the areas that actually speaks more of an employee experience. And we cannot overemphasize the fact that the need for digital HR transformation is what would help you as a professional to be able to, competitively meet up with this area of focus and of course, get it done very well. And another part of it is a varying maturity level. Some organizations leading the ways, others are actually struggling, to keep pace. And today, most companies today, they are struggling. Now, the struggle is not because they don't have the right talent. The struggle is because there is limited or less intervention in the areas of digital transformation or digital place for the HR department. And the last part of it are challenges, data securities, integration of technology, change management, and skill gap. And so tonight, we're going to learn together to see how and the step we can use as professionals to design a comprehensive HR digital framework for the human resources department. Let's look at the next slide. And so for us, it is important that we note that whether we like it or not, our role as professionals in the human resources space speaks more of when we think of strategies, work tools, and ways at which we can support our businesses in this case, I'm talking about the organization, to see how they can be able to meet up with the overall broad objective. And so the first part of it, which I said earlier, is for us to define the vision and the objective. Why do you actually need a digital transformation? Because you don't just speak to the business owners and the management to say that the HR department is due to have or to bring on board technology to support the HR need. There must be a reason why we need this as a department, or of course why it should be made available. And the first part of it is it supports the HR departments to align with the overall business strategy. Are we together? So if you have your digital HR transformation available within the department, it supports you to be able to align with the business strategy. And another part of it is it helps you to focus on key areas like the areas of improving employee experience. I was privileged to speak with a particular CEO of a digital organization, one of the top 5 digital organizations in Nigeria. I think sometimes close January. And he was telling me some of the successes that the organization has been able to meet, and within the organization, and of course to their clients. And we cannot overemphasize a place where employees want to do everything within the comforts of their mobile phone. If I want to go for leave, I don't need to actually be writing to the HR manager or to the HR officer or to the employee engagement officer to say, I want to apply for leave. I should be able to do this within the confines of my mobile app, or the mobile app, and then apply for leave. And it goes through to the line manager approver and then to the HR and the likes. These are experiences that people want to enjoy within the comfort of their the space of their work and what they do. And then it also helps to attract and retain top talents. Right now, work mode has changed. People are evolving, and it is expected that the HR department too must evolve. Our evolving is not for us to say that we want to think of how well people will stay in the organization, but what are those tools and what are those availabilities that would make them to stay. And so when we say things like this, we're talking about work tools. We're talking about efficiency in their own areas personally. And if you don't have the required technology that would support them to remain in the organization, for them to be able to get their job done properly, get it real time, and get it fast, it is impossible for you to. And at that point in time, they get tired, they get burn out, and by the time they start getting information from what happens within your competitors or what even happens within the organization, they tend to want to go there to work because, of course, these are available to them. And then data-driven decisions making. If the business owner calls and says, "Oh, Matthew, how many of our staff are present today? How many of them are absent today? We want to do the numbers of male, numbers of female." This technology can just filter this information and make them available to you within 5 minutes. But if you are still going outside to say you want to get registered, you want to get books and like that, we as a decision-making department, we are expected to have evolved out of this and ensure that we have technology that will support it. Digital transformation is not just about adopting new technology, it's about leveraging technology to fundamentally challenge the way HRO operates. Now, by embracing technology, digital tools, and processes, you can unlock significant benefits for your organization, from cost savings and improved efficiency to enhance talent acquisition and what a more engaged workforce. And so I when I was speaking to this particular CEO, and he was asking me, how would he be able to measure performance and ensure that if employees are actually working from home, they're actually doing their job. And so I just asked him if one particular say, do you use Microsoft Teams? He said, yes, that's what they use. And then he swiped his laptop, and I just took him to a particular area, and it was marveled, you know, to the fact that I was able to show him that from with your Microsoft team, you can actually, monitor performance, track performance of employees working remotely. And so for us as HR professionals, we need to actually, for define the vision, and then what is the objective for it? Why do you actually need a digital transformation within the department to also to support, the business? Let's look at the next slide and see what we have there again. And so in looking at the next slide, you find out that I said that we need to assess the current state. What is obtainable within the HR department? What are the existing processes and technologies that are available? How do you get things done within the HR department? If you want to put out notification for vacancy, how do you do? Do you design flyers and then share it on various HR platforms on LinkedIn, Indeed, and the likes? Is that what you currently do? Then now, this time around, you want to now see how you now evolve to a technology that will just allow people to just go, click on the link and apply, upload documents, and you get every of this real time. And then identify pain points and efficiency in your technology or the current state that your informations and data processing, or of course the technology that you use. What are those inefficiency that this technology has? What do you want to correct in it? Why do you think that the HR department needs it? Why do you think that it is a specific need for your business and for the department? These are assessments that you need to, put into place. Another thing is that you need to also assess employees' digital literacy and their readiness. You don't just think of saying that, okay, we need the technology X, Y, Z. You need to also ensure that the manpower that you have and the employees, would they be able to access it? That's one. Are they digital technological savvy to be able to operate and, almost immediately adapt to this resulting change? Are they actually ready to say that they want to make use of this technology? Every of this must be put into place before bring it on board. I'll take you to a particular organization that adopted the use of Sage 360 Evolution. Now, the HR department thinks that it is a tool. Now, I'm not saying that Sage 360 Evolution is not okay. It is good. It's a nice technology. It's a nice ERP for organizations that they can actually use, and they can actually adapt to it. But you cannot also emphasize the fact that is this actually what is needed in the organization? The people that you have, the workforce, do they really need it? Are you actually sure that it is something that will work for them? Are you certain that it is a tool that once it is deployed to departments, if it is deployed to units, if it is deployed to the workforce, they can immediately, start making use of it with, of course, little training, and they will adapt immediately to it. Another part of it, which is the last part of it, that you must be able to, gather feedback from respective stakeholders. And stakeholders, in this case, we're talking about the employees, the people who are going to make use of this, the end users, not just the HR department, the end users, people who will make use of this technology. You need to gather feedback from them and be sure that it is something that is obtainable. You need to conduct a thorough audit of your current HR operations and understand what is working, understand what is not working, and understand what is actually needed for you to be able to comfortably speak to the heart of your people, speak to the hearts of the employees, and ensure that they can be able to make use of it, and to ensure that it is something that will stay, not just stay. Of course, they will be able to immediately start making use of it, and the efficiency and the growth that you desire, you'll be able to get it. So let's move to the next slide. And so another important part of it that I must share to us is that in making use of this, when you are conducting feedback and when you're trying to assess and get across to your stakeholders. Do not forget the fact that management also makes up the stakeholders that you will, of course, meet with and, of course, communicate with. Another interesting part of it is selecting the right technology. The fact that company XYZ is making use of technology ABC does not mean that it is what your organization will use. Does not also mean that it is what you should introduce or perhaps introduce to your organization. No, you need to actually, conduct your needs and you need to consider your needs, and you need to also consider the budget. Be certain that your organization will be able to pay, will be able to finance this particular technology that you want to introduce. And based on the need, you need to also be sure that this technology that has been requested for, that you think that you want to introduce, is actually what is needed for your organization. A technology that will work for an FMCG or a manufacturing may actually not be what will work for a banking or financial institution, or perhaps for a consulting organization. It may not be actually work. So you need to actually understand the need and be sure that it is what will work for your organization. Another part of it is you need to look for integrated solutions. What are these solutions that will work for your organization? What solution speaks? When I was speaking to this CEO precisely, it was like, okay, this is the kind of job that we do. We have people who work remotely. We have people who who works outside the state. We have people who are outside the country. So these are factors that must be considered for you to be able to say that you want to identify a specific need and a specific technology that would work for your organization. So in this case, you'll be able to identify what is the possible solution that you can actually integrate to your business. Another part of it is you must prioritize user-friendly solution, and as well as securities that will work for the organization. This is because there are some technologies that are not user-friendly, that you over time want to spend months in, months out, because you're either carrying training, you are doing mentorship, or you are coaching people on how they'll be able to use it. So you must be able to identify the technology that will work for the organization, and you must ensure that you must also ensure that the technology is actually has enough of security features, because we cannot over the place of data privacy and data security. Some technologies today, you just adopt them, you bring them into your organization, and the next thing, what happens? You realize that informations of your employees, information of your colleagues are found in either in the web or Facebook or somewhere. People just get access to it. May not actually be from the within the organization, but because somebody somewhere has refused to do his or her findings or research. Another part of it is you must get demos and references. You must get demos, you must get references. These demos and references are what you need. You will bring these demos and references on board to the organization. You share it to people. They will have to see it. They will see it. They would go through it. They will identify it as a potential need. Now, in identifying it as a potential need, they will also, take their time to use it maybe for a period of 1 week or 1 month. And each of these processes is for them to be able to understand if they can be able to use it. Each of these processes is for them to be able to know whether or not it is what is possible for them to be able to adapt. Now, you need to choose a technology that aligns with your business objective. You need to choose the technology that adapts to that supports the HR strategy. And so don't just come up with to say that we want to use technology XYZ or not. Let's prioritize it. Then, so in building a technology, another thing is that you need to build a digital HR roadmap. This roadmap is what speaks end to end to the business owner and to everybody who makes up the entire business structure. You need to what, prioritize. Now we can go back to the next slide. So we need to do what? Make priorities. We need to prioritize initiatives based on urgencies and impact. And so if you look from slide 2, 3, and this one, we keep on talking about it's not just about saying that we need technology XYZ. You must ensure that it is a technology that is actually needed for the organization. Prioritize the initiatives based on urgency and based on the impact that it is going to create to the HR department and to the business. So every of these are so much of necessity that we cannot play out and we cannot take our minds off it. Another part is we need to set realistic timelines and milestones. It is a roadmap, and so it is not something that can actually be actualized in 1 month or in 2 months. It is not something that you can actually achieve probably in 1 week or actually in 2 weeks. So you must actually set timelines that will say that if we start in January 1st, between January 1st to March 31st, these are what we should achieve. And that's what these are called milestones. We should be able to say that for this particular stage, to have gone through the demonstrations and being able to understand it and being able to say, okay, I can use it from my own end without the support of or any interface from the HR department or from the technology department. And that thing is that we need to also identify dependencies and resources. You need to actually identify what the dependencies and resources looks like. These are areas that we must, as an HR department, play more priorities to. Priorities, I've said it as priority because it is needed. You must be sure that resources that would support you in bringing this on board. And when we talk about resources, we're also talking about the financial part of it. If your organization is not liquid enough to go for technology ABC, please, if it is DEF that you can use, and it can actually support the HR department, and it can actually support the overall broad objective of the business, please, by all means, let us make use of it and support the management in this case. And then we need to also plan for change management and communication. When you're bringing up a technology, if you want to adopt technology into your organization, it is a change process. It must go through change process. And of course, I'm sure we all know what change process is. You have to make sure you identify possibly a town hall meeting, if possible, send a communication across to individuals, let them know that the organization by so time will be adopting a new technology. You need to also identify individuals who will become change champions, who would be representing the interests of the human resources department within respective departments or within respective units, business units. And they would also help you in cascading and communicating, achievements within milestones and achievements within, respective timelines. You need these individuals and you need this change management support. And of course, you must at all times communicate. You need to identify your specific areas, respective organizations you have your own challenge of communication. You know how well you can communicate to people and they will get it immediately. You need to process this communication across to them and let them understand it. So you need to create a roadmap that outlines the steps. You outline the steps. This roadmap will show the steps. These roadmaps will tell every stakeholders within and outside. If it is a technology that will require external stakeholders, probably your vendors, probably your customers, probably your clients, that would help them. So you need to communicate this to them, and so that they can be able to understand. And then you cannot bring technology without training. You must of us understand that there is need for you to train for them to learn, for them to relearn, for them to unlearn. You need to provide training on new technologies and the processes. So for every technology comes with a document. Every technology comes with a standard operating procedures. This document needs to be cascaded to every individual who are going to be users of this technology. And in cascading it to them, that is where you need to create a time so that this training is also going to be part of it's going to be part of your roadmap, because you need to put them through the processes for them to understand how they will be able to make use of it. And you will agree with me that these processes of the training, they will always come back to you to ask questions. They will always come back to say that perhaps this particular approval processes is not needed, especially for heads of department or for unit leaders, for team leaders. You need to also identify these areas. You need to offer ongoing support and resources to these users. Especially when you have extra stakeholders that are external that are also going to be making use of. There are some ERPs that requires external stakeholders to make use of, especially for the areas of supplies, for the areas of demand, for the areas of procurement. There are technologies where you just the admin department or the procurement department just put up a need request, and it gets to a particular vendor. So like that, you need to ensure that this support gets across to everyone. And another part of it is this support empowers employees to embrace change. When you give them the required training, and the process of you training them, one thing that is important is that they get to identify the need for them to, adapt it, the need for them to welcome it, how it supports them, and how it's going to improve their own well-being as an individual, their own personal growth, because that's what they want to consider. And overall of it is the employee experience. And importantly, colleagues, you need to actually celebrate each of these successes and each of these milestones. I recall when a particular organization, when we introduce a particular HRO's technology, and at every process, at every point where we achieve particular, I think one of it was when even the blue collar teams that we do not expect that they will be able to make use of it. We realize that from their comforts of their homes, they are applying for sick leave, applying for casual leave, and when we had instances where we needed to introduce our vendors, we realized that sometimes there was a time when we just made a request, and a particular vendor just replied and said she will be able to supply it within 48 hours. So these are milestones that you must, as HR professionals, you must actually celebrate it, because in doing this, it speaks about the experiences to both to stakeholders that are internal and to stakeholders that are external. So you need to invest in training the HRO teams, employees on this new technology and the processes, offer ongoing support and resources to ensure that they feel confident and they actually also feel empowered. Are we together? So they need to actually feel it. If they don't feel it, they will just assume that HRO again wants to waste money, or HRO has introduced a technology that is actually not needed. And you know what that means? Management will come back to say HRO is actually wasting money. And so, looking at it further toward the next slide, we must understand that technology is needed in every department, is needed in every organization that has human resources as a department, which of course it's a decision-making department that supports decision-making, that supports business growth, that supports business intelligence, that supports business processes in the areas of growth. But we cannot overemphasize the fact that we actually need technologies that will grow our business, that will align to business overall objective and growth. So a digital HR strategy is essential for success in today's competitive marketplace. The marketplace is competitive today. Every one of us as HR professionals, we are all in the labor market. We are all in the labor market to either go out there to get the demand for labors, or we want to actually supply labors for those of us in the consulting and outsourcing businesses. But guess what? You need the required technology for you to be able to meet with this. There are some organizations today that has manpower plans and employee manpower banks, and they have been able to get this through technology. I recall there was a time somebody called me and said, Mr. Matthew Odigbe, my name is this. I'm calling from a particular organization. We have your CV in our bank. and we are calling to ask if you are open for a particular role. And I asked, which of this resume do you have? I want to be sure you have the updated. And I said, okay, this. I was like, oh, how are you able to get this? And so these are what organizations today are using to leverage competitively in the marketplace today. Now, by leveraging the power of technology, HR can improve efficiency, attract and retain top talent, and create more positive employee experiences. In a particular organization, we partnered with a particular training institute, a very popular training institute, which is Coursera. I'm sure some of us know Coursera. And so what happens is that our team can go there by themselves, register for courses, and they will take their time. Some can prepare for weekend, and they'll go for courses and like that. Now, you can actually, as an HR leader or an individual who is in the HR department, introduce ideas like this for you to integrate the learning processes to institutes like this, and within the comfort of employees, they can actually go for training programs like this. And at the end of the day, when certificates are issued to them, you find Matthew Edibe Consulting in partnership with Coursera and the likes. And so that's a whole lot of experiences that we actually need as colleagues or as employees. Now, you need to also start by assessing your current needs today. Every one of us professionals, let's start assessing our current needs. Assess your current needs. Be sure that the technology that you're actually using, is it what your organization actually need? Are you sure that it is what supports your goal as an HR professional? Then the next thing you need to do, what you need to also choose the right tool and develop a plan for implementation. Thank you so much for every one of you that listen. It's time for me to answer your questions, bring in your questions. And for everyone that wants to contribute to it, please let's share our opinions and share our contributions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for that excellent Kansha. Today is a special day for people who follow football. And you see that some people decided not to join. All the same, we must focus on our priority and our destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions, comments, or contributions so that we can quickly take it? If you raise your hands, we'll enable you to speak. I'm also checking the chat box to see if anybody has dropped any question. Oh, Madam Rita, sorry, I just saw your message now. I thought it was a system-generated thing. I didn't know it was intentional. My apologies. I was the one managing the slides. Okay, so I have a feeling that maybe tonight is not one of those days where we will have questions. Meanwhile, on the chat box, I can see a lot of people expressing their appreciation, thanking for the quality of the delivery, the content, and the insights you have made available tonight. We are still waiting. I have 120 seconds to wait to see if somebody wants to change their mind and seize the moment and either contribute, ask questions, or even share one or two remarks. All right. So in the absence of no contribution, any closing remarks? Matthew, any closing remarks?
All right. So importantly, HR professionals, over time, one major challenge that I know that we face is that it's when you want to introduce technology to management. And what I will always plead, and what I always plead to everyone, and I speak to you all, is that be careful of the technology or maybe software or ERP you want to introduce to your organization. I know of a particular organization today that was sued. I'm sure some of us heard of it. around November last year. The organization was sued because an ex-staff found his data, I think, on the internet, and according to him, only the organization where he worked last was where he made available those information. That's one. As a matter of fact, what another interesting part of it that even made him win the case against his former employer was that by the time he went further to search, the document which he uploaded has a kind of waterlog of the organization. That is to prove that the information actually got leaked out from
Wow.
yes, from the organization. So just like Matthew Adigbe Consulting, I uploaded the documents for Matthew Adigbe Consulting, and maybe in 2-3 years after leaving the organization, I just find out that there's maybe the way people just advertise CVs on the internet to say they can help you optimize your CV and your CV will look like this. And the guy was just like, this is my CV now. Who is using my CV to do advert? And so by the time he downloaded it, he saw the watermark of the previous organization that he has worked, and that is the only place he was able. So he sued his ex-employer. It's over the internet if you search. I think around November last year, and the organization paid dearly for it. Before you introduce any software to your organization, security, data privacy should be very, very key, because whether or not the organization wants to pay very big for it, there are some factors that there are some questions that they will ask you. And CEOs today at Tech Service today also want to go back to make research and ask questions. Please do not endanger your organization. Do not endanger the HR department, or even put yourself into trouble simply because you want to adopt a software or a technology that will work for the organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that closing remarks. Oluwafemi Aluko, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Matthew. Thank you so much, Mr. Oluyemi, for this session. And Mr. Matthew, thank you so much for this session as well. It's been really remarkable. So I don't know if you touched on this already, but it's just a question I have in mind, and I would love what your input will be. So in transitioning from a paper-based HR unit organization, for example, into a cloud-based, what are the steps that you recommend to be taken? And so that it also wouldn't affect, so that transition wouldn't have drastic impact on the organization. Thank you.
All right. Yes. It's a very good question, Femi. I must sincerely say that you've asked a very good question. Now, it is even more easier when you are transiting from paper-based organization to the technology. Now, so many software, good software, the HR digital softwares and technology today has made it so easy that at the process of integration, there is an opportunity for you to upload. Are we together? There is opportunity for you to there was a particular organization that I gave advisory support to, and we were able to look at the size of the organization. We were able to consider the liquidity of the organization. We were able to consider the size in the areas of also manpower. Also understand and look at how technological and digital savvy the manpower as well. Good for us is actually an organization that about 80% of them are tech savvy. So the software the technology we supported and we recommended for them happens to be one that comes with an Excel format. So 2 ways. If you have team members that are not actually, tech savvy so much that you think that you may actually need to do a whole lot of work, you can actually look for technologies or digital platforms that supports you to upload these data and information. And so what that means is that there is a template for you to download. When you download this template, share it with everyone in the organization. You can only do this after you've actually communicated to them. You've actually made them understand the need for it and why you are doing this. And so by the time they populate this data on this Excel, you take your time as a HR person to filter it. Mind you, they are giving you this information, and at that point in time, you are the only person that has this information. So if you want to assign it to an HR officer or to a change champion, you must be sure that it is he or she is somebody that you can trust. And so these are very important process, a particular process that you must be careful about. And so by the time you get every of this information, you filter this information, ensure that the data are correct, take it back to them again for them to verify and to be sure that this data that they have given to you are okay, and then you upload. By the time you upload, what has happened is that you have been able to successfully transit from paper to full technology. And at that period in time, that is when you now need to start the demo. Do not do implementation immediately. You start the demo. At that demo, that is where you can now create a dummy username and password for them to not be able to log in and access the data that you have uploaded. At the process of accessing the data, they can also verify and cross-check what you have given to, what they have given to you, what you have filtered, and what you have uploaded. Then if there is need for you to correct, you now do the correction. And so if there is also possibility for you to now, carry out the areas of the training and every of these are the areas, these are now the opportunity and the time for you to now, do the area of support of coaching and mentoring. I don't know if I've been able to attend to your question, Femi.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I would like to celebrate you publicly and privately. Matthew Adigbe, for coming out again. You never say no anytime we reach out, and you are always quick to also reach out when you have a topic you like to share with the house. And we pray that you continue to find favor and mercy and expand in your professional depth and grace. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to celebrate everybody who joined tonight. It's a big sacrifice and a big show of commitment. The show must always go on, and we must always be committed to our outcomes, no matter the circumstances and excitement around us. We'll call it a wrap tonight. Please, for those who do football, please do it responsibly tonight. Irrespective of the outcome, we are all Africans, and Africa wins. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
All right. Good night, everyone.